When I was a kid, we didn't have a DVR. I couldn't record live television except, to tape, and I definitely couldn't pause it. So I made the effort to catch my favorite show, Full House, every single week. Now, I watched the show from the very beginning, and my mom was fine with letting me watch it because it was wholesome and it realistically portrayed families and all of the issues that they dealt with. They didn't play it safe, though. I mean, they dealt with issues that every family is faced with, and they did it positively. And one of the very few good role models for girls in the 90s was DJ Tanner. Now, she, of course, was played by Candace Cameron-Bure, who has starred in a number of projects since, most importantly, as wife and mother. Now, her new book is Balancing It All, My Story of Juggling Priorities and Purpose. I really love the colorful color. Now, Candace is here with us. The book is out now. It is such a pleasure to have you here. Love what you do.
Thank you.
And I've grown up watching you, and it's kind of surreal to have, to have you sitting right here across from me. So thank you for this.
You're welcome.
This, I love, because I thought I had a busy schedule, and then I was reading your Twitter timeline, and just like yesterday you were up, you had a early call at like 3:45 a.m. and
yeah.
How on earth, and you really explain it in here, but it's not just you're juggling all of the different hats you have. Priorities and purpose is intentful. Explain a little bit just about how you approach everything, how you are actually able to balance everything and not be nuts over it.
Right. Well, I think it's important, first of all, to realize that balance is different for everyone. And if I'm juggling 10 or 20 things and someone's juggling 5, that's
right.
fine. And we don't have to try to strive
right.
to juggle more and more and more.
Right.
We don't. But the things that we are investing in within our own lives that are purposeful and meaningful to us, I mean, those are what we need to prioritize. Right. And I mean, how I do it all with my husband and my children and work, and then the things that I love, like my friends and girl time and fun time and philanthropy, all those things. I mean, it does come down to prioritizing. Right. And I know that grounded in the root, the foundation of everything in my life is my faith. Mm-hmm. And then prioritizing my husband and my family, and then all of the other things. And of course, work is very important to me. It's something that I love and I'm passionate about. But at times it has to take a back seat to
right.
my family, because if my family's not right, then what's the purpose of the work?
Exactly. And I love that you also mention in this book you don't miss your small groups, your for church. You don't miss small groups. We just moved here, so we found our church. We got signed up with small groups. I can't imagine not that's the thing that centers you, and that's where you put your emphasis. That's where you draw your strength. That's sort of like the center of your storm, basically.
It is, because I do travel a lot, so there's a lot of weekends I'm not home, that I can't go to church every Sunday because I'm traveling. But obviously there's the internet and we can watch sermons online, but like my small group is where I grow. That's
right.
with my girlfriends, that we can get intimate in asking the tough questions and the deep questions and the questions we feel safe asking because we really don't know the answers or are struggling with answers. And but that's where I grow in my knowledge, so that one's super duper important to me.
Right, and you get in here. I have this on mark because I was reading this. You quote Proverbs 22:6, which I love, and you really give so much credit to your parents for keeping you on the right track. And I get it's hard for me to let my boys watch stuff on television because they see women in their age demo, twerking and doing all of this stuff on television, and you are one of those real success stories. I mean, you're such a success. You're faithful. You talk about faith. You talk about it unashamed. You're fearless in it, and you give so much credit to your parents. They kept you on the straight and narrow. Did you ever at times wonder, okay, this is like overkill, or did you ever have your classic teen moment?
Well, I mean, of course, listen, I wasn't a perfect child, so
Yes, you were, DJ. You were.
I had my moments. And I do give so much credit to my parents because they were so invested in our lives. And I have 2 sisters and a brother, and they were so just diligent in being there every single step of the way and always looking out for our best interest and always putting family first, regardless of the entertainment industry. And it was never about the entertainment industry, even though we were in it.
Right.
But I also have to say, because as a parent now, I have 3 children. I know I'm investing the way that my parents invested, but we're each born with our own personalities. So having 2 sisters and a brother as well, they had the same parents, and not that they went astray at all, but we all went through our things in our own time. So I want to say that to say it's not all the parents, because there's something in each of us that, like, we're going to make our own decisions regardless. But whatever was in my spirit, I just wasn't that person that wanted to go do a bunch of really crazy, dark things. I just didn't have the desire to do that.
And you made the decision to embrace your faith. This was you. I mean, this was something. How old were you when you became a Christian and gave your life to Christ?
I was 12 years old, but I did not start actively walking a faithful life and pursuing my relationship with God until I was about 25 years old.
Right. Well, that's, I mean, it takes, I mean, you grow into it. It's not something that happens overnight. You grow into your relationship, but that's, because I wondered about that. You know, I'm still reading your book, and I had wondered about that because you'd said that your brother had given you a book, and that kind of started you on this path.
Yeah, and that was in my early 20s, because my parents really did give us a really good foundation, but I didn't understand it as a biblical foundation. I just thought we had good morals and good values. But then in my early 20s, and it really was having children myself, it was like, I need to find this for me, not because my parents showed me. I'm thankful that they did, but like, I need to own this for myself, and do I really believe all of it? And that's when I was searching and seeking, and my brother was instrumental in that, as were other friends and family members in my life.
And it's great to have that support system. I wanted to ask you, too, about the whole Marie Claire dust-up. I saw that happen. I thought the way that you explained that in the Huffington Post interview was brilliant, really. I mean, it's great because you defined it very well, and that's kind of, I mean, frankly, that's an issue that a lot of Christian women struggle with. They don't know. They're not used to answering it and being put on the spot like that. And the way that Marie Claire went after you, it made me mad when I saw that, because I'm like, no, what she said was truth now, and you said it's meekness, not weakness. And then you tweeted the photo of you showing off a killer bicep.
I did.
Did that surprise you, that controversy?
I almost thought that Marie Claire tweet was a fake. I was like, really? Like, really? They're tweeting this out? Okay. It did take me by surprise. I didn't know that out of my whole book, which is about balance, they were going to take that, you know, a sentence out of there, and that would be the sentence that would cause the controversy. And, you know, this really came because when I grew in my relationship with God in my early 20s, my husband was the same kind of Christian that I was, meaning had a general belief in God, but not actively pursuing a biblical faith. And so this came off of the verse in the Bible in 1 Peter 3:1 that says, wives likewise be submissive to your own husbands, so that even if they do not obey the word, they without a word may be won by the conduct of their wife. Now, I grabbed onto that verse because my husband wasn't really a believer. And so I went, he can be shown God without my saying a word. And so that's where it all stemmed from, and I started doing Bible studies about being a godly wife, and how could I reflect that to my husband without like nagging him all the time, or just like throwing up the gospel all the time to him, because you get sick of hearing it. And everyone's got to figure it out for themselves. So anyway, that's where it came from. But I learned early on, hey, if I let my man lead and build him up into the man God wants him to become, it was just like, it just made sense, and it just was right. So anyway, I understand.
And you didn't look at it from the perspective that my husband is going to act maliciously or lead me astray. And that's what is the big disconnect. Because as a person of faith, and it's just as a person with a successful marriage, you're like, now why would my husband be mean to me? That's kind of, no.
And it wasn't about ruling over me either. It's like, it just couldn't be farther from the truth. But I think that people hear that word submissive, and nobody wants to be told what to do. It's just this.
The bridled strength, though, that's true strength.
It really is.
I loved
it's a difficult thing to do, and I mean, I have to work on it every day.
As do I. Some days I'm like, Lord, please put a hand over my mouth, because just help me with this. This book is fabulous, folks. If you don't have it, you need to go and get it, Balancing It All. And Candace, I just have to say thank you for joining me. You continue to be a role model, a very positive role model for young women now, and young mothers, and people who look to you. So God bless you for what you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, folks. Up